What up, everybody?
Cheering for you, Shane. I'm cheering for you. You need some water, man?
Man, I'm excited to be here. Because
you know what I'm excited to be at? I bet you can guess where I'm excited to be at.
Not here. Oh, well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought you meant like right now. I mean, because we got Thanksgiving next week. We got a lot of good stuff coming up next couple of weeks. But most importantly, forget about the holidays, seeing family.
Which you can't do anyway.
Being thankful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dallas, Texas, man. So listen, if you're an originator out there and you feel like you might need to refresh your brand, get a little more clarity, rub elbows with top producers. I mean, maybe
invest in yourself.
Maybe invest in yourself. You know, it's crazy. When I was a fireman, like 90% of what we did was training for the 10%, right? So we invested in ourselves 90% of the time. So when we had to perform, we performed at a very high level because otherwise you would die, right? We didn't have any room for error. Imagine if we just took 10% of our time in our business and actually invested in ourselves. What would that do to your business, right? Imagine if you take yourself out of your small fishbowl, out of your small pond, and put yourself in a bigger pool. What would that do to your business? What would that do to your mindset about your business? And I think that's really the goal of any of our live events. You're masterminding with other top producers. You're rubbing elbows with guys and gals who have been in your exact chair, doing your exact thing, getting yelled at by an agent, getting like hammered by a client because you can't close a refi in 15 days. Like they're there with you and they're a little farther down the road. And so the goal is you come to an event and you learn about how to build a team, how to leverage free social media to generate leads that actually turn into money every month. Not like online BS leads that are just there to take up your team's time, but like dollar producing leads. You're gonna learn about this thing right here. It's the most powerful muscle you have. You're gonna learn about how to organize your day so that the day doesn't run you, but you run the day. And you're gonna do all of that in 16 hours, guys, 2 8-hour days, Friday and Saturday, December 4th and 5th in the Big D, Dallas, Texas, at probably the nicest facility in the state, other than Ken Travis's house in East Texas.
So, Shane, the funny thing is that like, a lot of people are sitting around, I hope you've had a good year because if you're not, Walmart's hiring because they have had a good year.
True story.
We're saying to ourselves, like, what else can I learn? We're just talking in CMA. There was a great post in there by a woman who's been in the industry for 30 years. And she was saying, I can't believe how much I've learned in such a short time plugging in. But the bottom line is, in order to learn in whatever you do, like you got to be open. It's why at 18 or 19 years old, like we know more than we're ever going to know about everything for the rest of our lives. And then every day since I turned 20, like I realize I know less and less as I learn more and more about the world. And so that's all the thing. That's what you're talking about, Shane. Like when you get to plug into a group of individuals who are like half of 1% who actually invest in themselves on an annual or maybe semi-annual basis, like it's a different mindset and different mentality if you're open to it. And if you're not, man, just stay home and do what you're doing.
Listen, I'm going to give you guys one free sneak peek tactic that we drop in that group. So one of the things that we talk about is how to leverage your time really well. We talk about what I call power conversations. That's the initial intake call you do with a consumer. Have you ever had a client that you didn't ask a question about, and then that comes back and bites you? Have you ever had a client that you're like, I freaking hate this client. I know they're going to give me a bad review no matter what I do. I busted my ass. I'm covering things for them. I'm picking up the phone late at night and it's not good enough. If that's you, you need to learn how to have powerful conversations at time of intaking new clients. And we teach you how to do this. We teach you what questions to ask, how to handle objection. If somebody says to you, hey, Sean, I want you to be available 24/7. I want the cheapest rate and I want to close in 20 days. We teach you how to answer that question.
Bye, Felicia.
And you can say bye, Felicia, without saying bye, Felicia. Yeah. And sometimes what you'll find is that's what they think they have to ask you because they've been trained by their agent to ask you that question. We teach you that. That's a 5-minute training out of 16 hours, guys. And what you'll find is you'll go there and you'll say, I don't need to learn about team building. I don't need to learn about branding. I closed more loans this year than any year before. And we go, that's great. How much of it was refi? When the refis go away in 6, 12, 18, 24 months, are you expecting to have a job? And if you are, what are you doing now to build for the future, right? The best.
Shane, I got a question, man.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like this must cost $10,000 or $20,000. How much does this cost?
It should, damn well should. I mean, oh, well, there you go, Sean. $197. Guys, if you're not willing to spend $100 a day on yourself, like, are you really in the right industry? Are you doing it for the right reason? Are you maximizing your potential? So I'm not going to hammer on it anymore. We actually have like 8 seats left because obviously with the dynamic we're in, space is actually limited. For the first time in the history of sales, when somebody says seating is limited, it's actually limited. That's actually true. I think we have 8 seats left. We've got a little over 2 weeks. And typically we sell out, like we've sold every event out. This will be no different. So if you don't get on the train now, you're going to miss out. And you're going to be sitting back in a slow month with a small pipeline, not knowing what to do, burned out, pissed off, losing revenue, and you're going to kick yourself for not spending 2 days to invest in yourself. And we even made one of those days a non-work day. So we want
the other thing too, like it's $197, but we have 100% money back guarantee, of which 0 people have ever asked for their money back. But like, anyway,
and we've been doing that for 3 years. We've never had to pay anybody back.
We do have some hard hitting news that I have eagerly been anticipating. I don't know, since the first G fee got put in place by Congress. And yes, I am a nerd for this stuff. So you may not know what the hell I'm talking about. That's okay. I'm going to explain it to you.
That's Sean's propeller hat.
So, our interest rates should be roughly 3/8 to a half point below where they are right now. And yes, they are dirt cheap, but the spread between where the mortgage-backed security is trading and the rates that we are offering to our clients are inflated because, well, we wouldn't have a mortgage industry right now if our government didn't step in during the Great Recession. And so they gave a lot of money, which has been paid back, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are still in conservatorship. So they are legalized monopolies that are in control of the government. The government tells them how they get to do stuff right now. Well, over the course of time, in order to build up reserves, there's been these G fees that have been put in place, like an eighth here, a quarter here in pricing that the government's been taking, some for their own good, but some to build reserves for Fannie and Freddie.
Like doing something good with it. We hear.
Hey man, it's why anyway. So they've been doing this. Well, they just released what the guidelines are because even though there is really likely to be a presidential change, there are some agenda items that are still being pushed, one of which we've all really been waiting for, and that is for Fannie and Freddie to get out of conservatorship and be back to their own companies again. And the rule that was put in place is there is going to be a 4% capital reserve, which is actually a little bit higher than what they already have in reserves by, I think it's like 700 billion. Roughly, I think they got like 6.1 billion. I don't know. You can go look this stuff up for yourself if you want to get the exact numbers. But they're going to have a little bit more in reserves in order to make this happen, because the government wants to make sure that when the proverbial crap hits the fan again, like, maybe it did in March or so, that Fannie and Freddie can still serve low and moderate income families, because we know that they are the ones that were absolutely hit the worst. So the people who are working in our restaurants and our hotels, they're the people who still aren't back to work right now. And frankly, if we don't have a secondary financing system that takes care of them, there's no point in having Fannie or Freddie, no matter what your belief is, they would cease to exist. So we need to make sure that it's capitalized to do all these things. And the bottom line is that when they go back into free companies and out of conservatorship, those G fees are not coming back to us. But we're still going to have 2 really badass entities out there that allow us to make a lot of money.
Yeah, don't tell your friend who went to school for 14 years to be a doctor that you went to school for 22 hours and make more money than him
in a month.
in a month. Well, listen, dude, like the last thing I have, and it's just a reminder is when you're sitting there in your business and you're saying, and it's that check engine light. That check engine light will turn on, telling you that you need to start to change what you're doing. Maybe your ideas are getting stale. Maybe you need to get back in front of your agents because you've been just like feeding on that refi train. There's no right time. There's no wrong time. There's just the time. And when that check engine light goes on and you realize that you need to do something different, you need to get out of your funk, shake up your routine. You need to get a playbook. You need to have a plan. We have a great, very simple to use tool. And if you want to get a free copy, because we're all about giving stuff away free before Thanksgiving, go to Playbook 2020, text Playbook 2020 to 484848, and we'll send you a copy of our playbook. It helps you organize your day, prioritize where you're spending your time so that people who are supposed to make $200 an hour aren't doing $10 an hour work. That's all I got. Everybody have an amazing weekend. Sean, I'll let you leave with the final point.
Hey, so whatever you're doing, make sure that you're doing something to invest in yourself. You've had a great year. It's time to pay the piper. Invest in yourself. Make sure that you're doing that, whether it's us, somebody else, I don't care. But like further yourself, further your career. And man, I'm just going to send you all out today with a little elbow bump, Shane. Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks.